Welcome to today's edition of the show podcast.
Even though he was one of the biggest stars the wrestling world has ever seen, Stone Cold Steve Austin says he often washed his trademark black trunks in a sink. Man, when you're on the road, and a lot of times, you're just rinsing your trunks out in a sink and wringing them out and letting them dry, the 56-year-old tells People. That's life on the road because there's not a lot of guys going to laundromats. So you can get pretty funky by the time you get back to the house, especially because of the way I rolled. Austin, who helped usher in the Attitude Era of WWE that solidified the company as the premier wrestling organization in the world, says the practice of washing his clothes in a sink was convenient, especially since he was often covered in beer by the time he returned to the locker room. I mean, it got to be pretty bad sometimes, he recalls. But most of the time, all my stuff smelled like beer, and I'd really wash all my wrestling stuff separately because it was so soaked with beer and had transferred to the clothes. After retiring following his match against Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson at WrestleMania 19 in 2003, Austin has been busy hosting the Steve Austin Show podcast and the USA Network reality show, Straight Up Steve Austin. He also has his own beer, Steve Austin's Broken Skull IPA. But today he's talking laundry as a part of a new campaign from Tide that cleverly matches him up with another pop culture personality with an icy nickname, Ice-T. That guy is one of the coolest people you'll ever meet, Austin says of the rapper. He had a rough upbringing and then he goes in the army, so he's very well traveled. And he's a survivor, so he's an extremely wise person and very, very charismatic. The pair's hashtag Turn to Cold ad features them cold calling unsuspecting people to tell them to wash their clothes in cold water. Cold water, the company says, reduces energy usage and helps to preserve clothing colors.